much, Josh, for being here tonight to discuss accessible library services from the South Dakota State Library. I won't do much more of an introduction. I'll kind of let you take it away.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here and to talk about services of accessible library services in the Braille Talking Book Library. The State Library is in Pierre, and housed within it is the Accessible Library Services with the Braille Talking Book Library. And our mission is to provide equal access to people across the state who can't read standard print. This includes people with vision loss and blindness, physical impairments that make it hard to hold a book or turn pages. We also have people with dyslexia and other reading processing disorders. And we've even had people with allergies to ink or paper as well. So that's something that is kind of unique that I hadn't heard of before I started working there. And funding for this program is made possible through IMLS, or the Institute of Museum and Library Services, under LSTA, for the Library Services and Technology Act. And that's administered by the State Library. All right.
Oh, I see. There we go. Try it now.
I'll just have you advance.
Okay, there we go.
All right, so a brief history highlights. In 1969, we established the Talking Book Library in Pierre. Before that, there was it was hard for the federal government to provide services to South Dakota and many other regions. There was the coastal areas were more where those kind of programs were. So there's actually an explosion across the country of talking book libraries, a lot in that same year. So a lot of us celebrate our founding in 1969. So it was a library for the blind and physically handicapped back then. We don't use that term anymore. We use library for the blind and print disabled. And we originally produced books on vinyl, so records, and some of them were more floppy records, so they weren't thick hard ones. And then we went to cassettes, and we were still using cassettes when I started there in 2005, and we were recording on reel-to-reels as well. Then we started we had an automated system in the 80s, and became the Braille Talking Book Library in 1990. And then we started going digital, which was exciting because I had to transfer our reel-to-reels that we had volunteers record to cassette, and that was quite a process. We had huge machines in the room, and it got really hot from all the moving parts. So we went digital, and we got these digital machines from the National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled, and these came out in 2009. So we have the standard machine, and we have the advanced machine. And instead of a cassette, we have a cartridge, which is about the same size as a cassette, but it's just a USB drive inside of a plastic casing, so that if you just sent a USB drive through the mail, it would fall probably on the floor. You'd never find it. Also, it has a hole in it that makes it easy to put in and pull out of the machine. And another nice thing about the machine is you press the buttons and it will tell you what their function is.
Volume up to increase, volume down, speed up to increase.
All right, and then if we stick a bookend.
5 books.
The Ladies of Ivy Cottage.
Bookshelf. 5 books. 4.
Merciless Evil.
3.
Deuce's Wild.
So this cartridge has multiple books on it. Originally, there was just like one title that would come on a cartridge. But in 2020, we got Scribe Towers. So the Scribe is used to download on demand multiple titles. So they're custom cartridges for each patron based on what they want. So we have a system with all the patrons and what they like. So this person likes gentle romance and westerns, and it will pick from a list, or certain authors they'll pick from a list. And used to, obviously, it was what was available on the shelf. But now everything's available because it's all just downloading. So yeah, that's kind of where we went in 2020, and it's worked really well for us to have multiple books on one cartridge. All right. So who we are, we're a great team of people. This middle picture is the current ones. Oh, that's me when I was young. Yes, I have worked there nearly 20 years. So, yes, we have a great group of staff. We have several reader advisors who are the ones who talk with the patrons over the phone, or they are the ones who do email the patrons as well to help serve them. And then we have Jack, who's our circulation guy, and he sends the books and duplicates them through the scribe system. And also the machine sends and receives them. And we have a lady who also does cataloging. She's also going to be doing some reader advisor work as well. And then we have Kathleen, our manager. And we also, well, we'll get to that later. Let's go. All right, so some of what we offer. Like I said, we can download the books to a cartridge and then they go on the machine, but people can also go to our BARD website. BARD stands for Braille and Audio Reading Download. And so you can download both Braille as well as audio to a cartridge. And you can also download it to a phone app. So in the picture in the slide, there's the BARD mobile app on an iPhone. And yeah, you can just download them. There's no expiration date. And you just download as many as your phone will hold, basically. And then there's also NFB Newsline, and so that's the National Federation for the Blind Newsline, and they have not humans read, but robots, or probably not really AI, but robotic voices read, newspapers, magazines, both national as well as we have agreements to record the Argus Leader, Rapid City Journal, and Aberdeen American News as well. So that's a great way for people to have access to local and national publications. We also have audio described videos, so those are DVDs or Blu-rays that have the audio descriptive track, and you can also get this at your public library a lot of times, but the ones in our collection all specifically have that track. We also have sports schedules in Braille, and we have calendars in Braille and large print. So that's always cool to have. I mean, Braille is more of a specialized thing, but it's great to have that accessible. We also record magazines in South Dakota Magazine. So like we have South Dakota Magazine, Dakota Country, Dakota Farmer, South Dakota Conservation Digest, the Game Fish and Parks publication, and Bishop's Bulletin, and a few others, as well as national magazines. And of course, we also have our Prairie Trails newsletter, which is our quarterly newsletter that we talk about our services and things that are coming up. Yeah. All right, more things that we offer. We also, for the Department of Education, we are the ones who deal with accessible textbooks and materials in large print and Braille. So we will work to have them produced if they're not already out there in an accessible format, or we will borrow them from another state or get them from the American Printing House for the Blind as well, which is a federal program. And so we work with teachers and other educators and sometimes parents to help get these materials and make them accessible. So we have some textbooks and some other materials. I brought a few. So there's like tactile maps. We've got some stuff from NASA. So you can feel what the moon looks like, at least on this side of the moon. There's just a whole range of them. Here's the impact area of where that happened. Here's what a Apollo astronaut suit kind of feels like from afar, and yeah. And we also have twin vision for large print and well, not necessarily large print, but print and Braille books. So they're called twin vision, and so they have Braille as well as print over here. And then some of them are also tactile graphics, so that means they're 3D raised images, and the people reading them can also feel. So here's a lizard, and it's bumpy, and it's kind of scaly, and then it kind of goes through the story. And there's this one's about a lizard trying to find its tail, and so there's all kinds of different tails to feel. And like, whose tail is that? Oh, it's a zebra's. Or this is a fluffy tail. I don't think that's the tail of the lizard. Oh, it's a cat. So we have fun learning books like that as well. And then we also provide summer and winter reading programs for youth as well as adults. And we're coming up to our winter reading program in February and March coming up soon. So we'll also have like a quarterly social club where we have like author talks where we bring them in, or we just talk about a different subject. We brought in a lot of things last summer to talk about opportunities for places to go in South Dakota. So like Game Fish and Parks came on. Laura Ingalls Wilder Homestead came on. And I already kind of showed you the equipment. And so these are the standard digital player and advanced model. And the standard player is what most people use, especially if they're just fiction readers. But if they get like magazines or nonfiction or want to read books with a lot of markup like cookbooks or a Bible, they will get the advanced player because you can jump around like for book of the Bible section, verse, all that type of thing. And then we also will provide a remote control, and that's mainly for people who are maybe bedridden and they are at a nursing home and they need something where it's with them, but the machine's kind of too big to be right on top of them. And then we also provide headphones, and it's all completely free. Federal government provides the equipment, distribute it. All right, another thing that we have that is newer that the National Library Service went back to Congress to get is Braille, refreshable e-Braille. So let me turn this on. All right, so you won't be able to see it here, but you can kind of see it on the slide, the series of 6 dots. Well, actually, there's 8 dots. And that's because for math, you need extra, and there's some other types of Braille that you might need extra dots. But so the Braille will refresh, so you will run your finger along it, you'll press a button, and it will refresh and read the next line. So instead of carrying a huge book of Braille, I mean, this isn't a huge one. I didn't bring some of the huge textbooks we have, but you'll have all this Braille, and this is just for an Arthur chapter book. And this is quite a big one to carry like in your backpack, for example. So instead of that, kids could just download it, or anybody of any age could download the books here. They can have hundreds of Braille books, and it's just a file, and then we'll translate it into the Braille. Now, what is Braille? It is actually a code, not a language. So that code can be used for any language around the world. And so the nice thing about it also, the nice thing about it is it uses the same part of your brain as reading with your eyes does. Where audiobooks are awesome and we all love them. Well, maybe not everyone does, but I love them. They use a different part of your brain to read. But Braille will, because it's recognizing symbols, just like recognizing visual symbols of the letters, it will use that same part of the brain. So that's a big reason that the National Library Service made sure that they were able to get the Braille machine. So to promote Braille literacy. Also, currency readers are something that we provide along with the Bureau of Engraving and Printing with the federal government. And so that's kind of a stopgap mission because legally they're supposed to make money accessible. And this is a way to make it accessible without having to totally redesign the money right away. And so the nice thing about it too is it'll say $1 bill or $100 bill, but maybe you don't want people to know you have a $100 bill at the store. So it also has buzz or has several functions to identify the denomination of the money as well. So be quiet and be private with your money. Also for people who are more hard of hearing, the digital advanced machine also comes in a high volume one. You do have to go to a doctor to get an application for that to be able to have that because it will damage your hearing if it's not already past that point. And of course, we already talked about, we have Braille books recreational, and there's a lot available for that, both physical and digital. All right, to become a patron, you just have to meet one of the criteria, and that is, you have trouble reading standard print, basically, and that could be for the various reasons: visual, physical, allergies, dyslexia, or other processing things. So you can go online and fill out an application. You can also call us. You can also go to your local public library, and they can help you fill out the application. They can also sign it because they are certifying authorities, as well as teachers and other individuals. You don't have to go to a doctor. So as long as you reside in South Dakota, but if you are from somewhere else, there is a program in every state. So if you have a family member in another state, go ahead and contact the state library, and they can get you in contact with the Talking Book Library there. And then we have different applications, mainly there's adult, there's a children's app, and we have schools and libraries that also have accounts with us, so they can work with us on that. People get to choose how many cartridges they get at a time, so we always recommend at least 2, so you can always have one coming and one going through the mail, so you don't have to wait. And you can always select what you want. If you want to only choose your books, you can go online into our catalog and choose them. Or if you're like, just send me a romance, or send me Stephen King, we can have that as well. Yeah, and then it can come directly into your home through the mail. And the cartridges just come inside of the plastic case, and and you stick it in, close it up, and I don't have the card here, but we just have a mailing card that has the patron's address on it. And then when they're done with it, they just flip it around or turn it inside out, and it comes back to us. No postage necessary, never pay postage, and because the federal government pays the postal liaison. So, yeah. All right, so I've kind of already talked a little bit about this. Yeah, you can go online to our web OPAC catalog, or contacting your reader advisor, and that's one of their main responsibilities, to help you choose. And you're like, I'm not sure what I want. Well, I like this author. Can you find something like that? Or you can work with your public library, and they can help you pick some as well. It's always nice to have somebody in person that can help you. And then maybe you are in a book club at your local library, and you just want it in accessible audio format. You can also contact us for that. There's no loan period, no overdues, but you have to just get one thing a year, so that's great. And then, like I said, you return a cartridge, you get a cartridge. That's a great way to always have a book to read. Yeah, do not pay postage, and you're not charged for if things are lost or damaged. And you just let your reader advisor know what's happening in your life. If you're going to go down south for the winter, we can just change your address to that, and you don't have to change your service to another state. Then when you come back, we'll just change it to your home address here. We're always hearing from a lot of patrons how much the service means to them. And these are just a few of the comments. That I couldn't be without these books. They really brightened my life. A lot of people that were big readers before, when they could read standard print, it's kind of hard when you start to not be able to do that anymore. So this is a great way to do that. And there are also people who were never big readers, and now in their retirement years, or just they have something else going on in life, they read a ton. And we just heard from a lady the other day, and she signed her mom up for the books. And her mom and her, would talk occasionally, but now that her mom started reading books, they have such good conversations. She's always talking about what she's reading, and like, you should read this book, and it's so much fun to hear that. So here's our contact information. You can email us. You can call our 800 number. If you have a South Dakota number, if you have an out-of-state number, just call our number 605-773-3131, or 1-800-423-6665. We also have our website, library.sd.gov/ALS, and find us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, as well as YouTube. Yeah, we'd love to help you find books and be able to read accessible media. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Josh, for joining us tonight. We appreciate having you.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Stop share and stop recording.